Good evening and welcome back to another episode of Goosebumps Podcast Can Be Murder. Today I'm joined with three other co-hosts. I'm your host, Bumps the Night. Today I have the Grinch.
Hello.
I also have WaffleFan42, although are you still going by that handle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And then of course, the legendary in Otaku's Life for Me, aka Josh.
What's up, y'all?
So tonight we're going to be going over Give Yourself Goosebumps number 4, The Deadly Experiments of Dr. Eek. I'm reading PDF. I know some of you have the book, some of you are PDF, but I'm going to start us off now, okay? Beware, do not read this book from beginning to end. Enter the laboratories of evil Dr. Eek. These are labs with experiments so strange, so amazing, so terrifying. There are super smart chimps and never-ending mazes. There are glowing German shepherds and mind-boggling virtual reality. One visit with Dr. Eek in a science class will seem like kindergarten. The scary adventure is about you. You decide what will happen and you decide how terrifying the scares will be. Start on page 1 and then follow the instructions at the bottom of each page. You make the choices. If you make the right choices, you will escape from Dr. Eek's deadly lab alive. If you make the wrong choices, beware. Take a long deep breath, cross your fingers, and turn to page 1, and this is all in caps, so I gotta shout it, but give yourself goosebumps. So let's see, page number 1.
How did you get in here?
A voice calls as you enter the waiting room at Eek Laboratories.
This door is supposed to be locked at all times.
You and your friend Sam jump. You didn't think anyone was around. Then you spot the receptionist sitting behind a tall desk. She's a short, frizzy-haired redhead wearing too much lipstick. She glares at you as if she expects you to turn around and leave, as soon as you figure out you're in the wrong place. I'm looking for my mom, you tell her.
Who's your mom?
The receptionist asks. She starts to pack up her things and leave. You glance at the clock. It's almost 5:30. Quitting time. She's the new lab technician, you explain. She's working on some top-secret experiments for Eek.
Really? For Dr. Eek?
The receptionist gazes at you suspiciously. Yeah, I guess, you say. But really, you're not sure. How come your mom never mentioned him before? Dr. Eek? All she told you was that she had a new job in a research lab. You didn't know there was a medical doctor involved. Doctors give you the creeps. Turn to page 2.
Are you sure your mom works for Dr. Eek?
The receptionist grills you. She raises an eyebrow. Her eyebrows give you the creeps. In fact, the whole place gives you the creeps. From the minute you stepped off the elevator, on the 19th floor, there were no signs of life. No one in the echoing hall. Nothing but the creaking elevator door. And then you spotted the door to Eek Labs. Your mother never told you about that. The door looked like the door to a huge vault. It was heavy steel and about 6 inches thick. Your best friend, Sam, pulled a small handle near the edge of the door. To your surprise, the door swung open.
Probably Sam.
Okay, you told yourself, so the place has a weird door. That's no reason to freak out. Yeah, she works here, you tell the receptionist. She does research.
Well, take a seat.
She replies.
I'm sure your mom will be right here.
Then she packs up her oversized tote bag and walks out. You search around for a chair. Then you see them. Across the room, the chairs are all orange plastic and they're all chained together. Page 3. You sit down in an orange plastic chair, but Sam doesn't. He starts roaming around the waiting room.
So what movie is your mom going to take us to?
You shrug. Who knows? But remember, Sam, we promised my mom we wouldn't act too wild here, you warned with a grin.
Yeah, he says.
Like he really cares, he wanders over to the receptionist desk. He picks up a glass of clear liquid that's sitting there. It's probably just water, but... Hey, you cry. Don't drink that. But before you can stop him, he drinks it down. Sam drains the glass in one gulp. Sam, I mean it. We can't fool around. This is a science lab. He starts to answer, but suddenly his face turns white. He clutches his throat and gasps. Then the veins on his neck start to pop out. A moment later, he makes a hideous face, as if he's turning into Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. You freeze. Your heart pounds wildly. What did you drink, you ask him. Page 4. You race over to the desk, you pick up the glass Sam was drinking from, and sniff to see if it has a smell. Nothing. Sam bursts out laughing. He gives you a devilish grin.
Water, Sam says.
Pointing at
the glass. It's just water.
You can't help laughing too. You like Sam. He's funny, but sometimes your best friend can go too far. He's always playing crazy jokes on you. I feel like that's going to come to bite you in the ass later, just saying. Sam gazes around. You're sure he's trying to figure out some other trouble to get into. Maybe we should look for my mom, you suggest. Anything to keep Sam from getting into more trouble. His eyes light up.
Great idea, he cries. Maybe we can do our own experiments.
On second thought, maybe you should just go sit tight and wait. Alright guys, first time to vote here for the group. So, if you want to sit down and wait for your mom, turn to page 11. If you look for her, turn to page 6. Waffle, what do you think we should do?
I think we should wait.
Okay, Grinch,
Same.
Josh, or Sam.
Wait,
Okay, so I'm not going to go against the grain here. Let's go to page 11. Let's not mess around, you say to Sam. We should wait for my mom. You take a seat in one of the orange plastic chairs in the waiting room. Sam plops down in another one.
bummer, he says. I thought your mom was going to take us to the movies.
She is, you assure him, as soon as she gets off work. But you look at your watch and think, uh-oh, she's late again. This happened a lot lately. You hardly ever see your mom since she started working at Eek Labs. She spends more and more time at the lab. When you complained about this morning, she apologized and gave you a big hug. She offered to take you to dinner and the movies that night.
And bring Sam if you want.
She said. You check your watch again. It's almost 6 o'clock. Where is she? Suddenly the door opens. A short woman in a white lab coat steps into the waiting room. She stares at you and Sam. Then she motions for you to come with her.
Sorry, I've been running late, the woman says. I'm Vanessa. Follow me.
Turn to page 12.
You here for the raster experiment, aren't you? Vanessa says. The pay is $50 cash. Get it at the end of the experiment. And it only takes about 20 minutes.
You look at Sam. $50? But what kind of experiment is it? Alright, next vote. If you go along with Vanessa, turn to page 20. If you don't want to take a chance on the raster experiment, turn to page 63. Waffle?
What is the raster experiment?
It's a good question. It's very vague with that name. Say it out like
Money
this.
never hurt anyone.
Exactly. You're a kid in the 90s, and someone just offered you $50. I'm gonna vote to go with Vanessa. Grinch?
Same.
Josh?
Same.
Waffle?
Yeah. Same.
Alright. Let's go to page 20.
$50, Sam explains. His eyes light up. Great.
Great, you say, grinning. What do we have to do?
Dr. Eek will explain it to you. Vanessa replies, follow me.
You follow Vanessa into a long hallway. The place is empty. Eerily empty. Closed doors line both sides of the hall. Vanessa's high heels click on the tile floor as she leads the way. Where is she taking you? Finally, she stops in front of a door with triple locks. There's an intercom box on the wall beside the door. She pushes the button.
Yes?
A man's voice crackles.
They're here.
Vanessa announces. Why is she acting as if they were expecting you? Click, you hear an electronic lock unlocking. Then another, and another. The door swings open. You peer into the room. It's pitch black.
Come in.
A voice says from the darkness. Turn to page 32. You step into a dark room. A light flashes on.
Well, what do we have here?
Says an older man in a white lab coat. He has gray hair and a soft, pudgy face.
Our next 2 appointments.
Vanessa explains. She tucks a strand of long brown hair behind her ear.
We're here for the raster experiment, sir. Really?
The man says. He pushes his wrinkled face right up to within an inch of your nose. He stares at you in the eye. You try to gaze away. There's something odd about him, about one of his eyes. It looks as if his right cheek has been pulled up to meet his eye and been stapled there. It gives you a weird squint. Then you notice something else. His lab coat is on backwards.
I am Dr. Eek. Are you sure you're here for the raster experiment?
The man asks.
Yeah, definitely, Sam insists. What do we have to do? That all depends.
Dr. Eek says with an evil-sounding laugh.
What are you willing to do?
Turn to page 64. This is getting scary, guys. Dr. Eek is too weird, you decide. You start to back out of the room, but Sam still has dollar signs in his eyes.
Where are you going? Sam whispers.
Out of here, you declare.
No way.
He insists.
I'm staying until I get that money.
Dr. Eek grins. He can tell you are having second thoughts.
How can it be? Sam mutters under his breath. I mean, seriously, your mom works here. It's gotta be a safe place, right?
You nod half-heartedly. But where is your mom anyway? As if he can read your mind, Dr. Eek speaks up.
Actually,
He says,
I'm not sure you're right for the roster experiment. I think you're too more suited to something
he lets his voice trail off.
Else.
He finally says, this sounds worse every minute. If you do whatever Dr. Eek tells you, turn to page 25. If you're a chicken, turn to page 17. Waffle?
I think we should chicken out.
Okay. Josh?
You know what? Chicken out.
Grinch?
chicken out.
Okay, I guess we're gonna cluck away. Alright, so let's chicken out. Turn to page 17. You clear your throat. Actually, I've got to go, you say to Dr. Eek. I've got to meet my mom. Dr. Eek shrugs.
As you wish.
He says to you.
Goodbye. Pleasure to meeting you.
You glare at Sam and motion toward the door, but he won't follow you. You step out into the hallway alone. You start toward the reception area, but then you hear a voice cry out.
Help! Someone help me!
You freeze. Was that Sam? Did the sound come from behind you, or was it in front of you? You can't be sure. An instant later, you hear that cry again.
Help! Someone help me!
If you go back and check on Sam, turn to page 81. If you think someone else might be in trouble, turn to page 99. Josh?
I'm gonna go check on Sam.
Alright. Grinch?
Same.
Waffle?
I actually think it may be someone else.
Okay. You know what? I'm gonna roll with you there. I feel like it's someone else as well. It's just too soon for Sam to scream, you know? It's like, unless Dr. Eek literally ripped his clothes off right then and there as soon as the door closed. So I'm gonna play a game real quick here. Number between 1 and 10. I'm gonna pick it. Whoever gets closest wins. Josh?
7.
Grinch?
3.
Waffle?
8.
Woo! Damn. Quit reading my mind, boy. That's what I was thinking, 8. Alright. Sorry, boys. We're gonna go see if it's someone else. Page 99.
Okay.
Sam's alright, you decide. And besides, that cry definitely came from somewhere in front of you.
Help, please!
The voice calls out desperately. It seems to be coming from a room just a few feet ahead. You dash forward and pull open a lab door. There's nothing inside except an empty laboratory. A big blob of some kind of green stuff sits on the counter. Wrong room, you say to yourself. You continue down the hall. You try another door. Nope. Just a broom closet. The next door on the left has to be it. It's already partly open. You give it a push and gasp. Also, was that green blob supposed to be monster blood?
I'm pretty sure it was.
I mean, it would definitely fit the vibe. Let's go to page 38. Right away, you know you're in an operating room. Tiled walls, metal cabinets, steel sink, heart monitors, cabinets full of rubber gloves, surgical lights above stainless steel operating table, lumpy objects underneath a stained hospital sheet. Wait a minute. Lumpy objects underneath a stained hospital sheet? Hurry to page 47. You're afraid to look under the sheet, and afraid not to. What is that lumpy object? Is that what was crying out for help? You peer closer and you notice a kid's sneaker poking out from under the sheet. You feel so lightheaded, you think you'd better lie down. But where? No way you're going to lie down in the operating room.
Help!
A weak voice says.
Please help me!
You swallow hard. Your heart pounds. The room begins to spin. Do you dare look underneath the sheet? If you look under the sheet, turn to page 22. If you think you'd better lie down first, turn to page 40. Starting with Grinch, what page we going to?
Looking under the sheets.
Waffle?
I think the thing in the sheet may attack us. And, like, if it's under the sheet, couldn't it just remove the sheet?
It's true, but I'm very tempted to look under the sheet. I think we're going to vote to look under the sheet. Page 22. You decide to look under the sheet. Why not? It can't be that bad, can it? Ooh, those are always the last words. Trembling, you walk over to the operating table. Sweat beads on your forehead, but you've got to do it. You've got to pull back the sheet. Slowly you lift a corner of the sheet. You peek underneath, near the head, or at least you hope it's the head. It's the opposite side from the sneaker anyway. Then you lift the sheet just a little more, then more. No! You scream when you spot what's underneath the stained cover.
Help me!
Cries a boy about your age, or at least you think it's a boy. You can't really tell because half his body is covered in fur. Turn to page 7. Oh god. It's a doggy schloggy.
Isn't this a reference to My Harry's Adventure?
You know what? It could be. It was a different doctor, but it very much could be. You stare at the thing under the covers. Your heart beats triple time. What is it? A boy? A dog? A furry? Or a little bit of each?
Help me!
He says again.
Please, my name is Joseph. Dr. Eek tried to turn me into a German Shepherd, but it didn't work. So now he's trying to turn me back into a kid.
You don't know what to say. This is so creepy. So sick. How could your mother work at a place like this?
I'm strapped down.
The boy explains. He gestures towards his furry doggy arms.
Loosen the straps so I can get free.
Okay, you say. Your stomach lurches at the sight of the bristly dog hair all over this kid's body. You start to undo the straps. Before you can finish, you hear footsteps approaching. Quick! You better find a place to hide. If you hide in Dr. Eek's office on the other side of the room, turn to page 129. If you hide underneath the operating table, turn to page 74. A Waffle?
I'm the office.
Josh?
I'm gonna go with office.
I'm thinking office as well. Grinch?
Office.
Alright, unanimously, page 129. Every instinct in your body says hide, and Dr. Eek's office seems like the best place. You see it on the opposite side of the operating room, an office with a big glass window. The sign on the door reads, Eek's office, keep out. I've got to hide, you say to the half-boy, half-dog.
No, don't hide.
The boy warns.
Run, and take this with you.
With a flick of his wrist, he tosses you a silver whistle.
It'll keep the dogs away.
he tells you. You start toward the door, but the footsteps are right outside. Uh-oh, time to make another choice. If you follow the boy's advice, run to page 112. If you think it's best to turn around and hide in Dr. Eek's office, turn to page 34. Josh?
112.
Okay, Josh doubles down and says run. Grinch?
Run.
Waffle?
Run.
Alright, apparently you say run goes with everything, page 112. You dash out into the hall with the whistle in your hand. Now what? You can't just leave this place without Sam. Sam! He's with Dr. Eek, in a lab down the hall. He's probably in big trouble. You race back into the room where you left Sam and Dr. Eek, but it's empty. All you find is a chewing gum wrapper for cinnamon gum, the kind Sam always chews. Then you notice there's another part of gum wrapper on the floor by the door, and another out in the hall, and another. It's a trail. Sam's trying to tell you where he went. You follow the gum wrapper trail down the hall, around the corner, and straight into the operating room. There you find Sam laying on a stainless steel table, and a jar of pickles lying on the other. Electric wires run from a scary-looking machine to Sam's feet, and to the jar of pickles. What are you doing? You scream at Dr. Eek. Turn to page 5.
What am I doing?
Dr. Eek repeats and then laughs.
You never understand that, my dear child.
Sam turns his head to stare at you. His eyes are filled with terror.
Get me out of here.
He pleads.
There's no way for your friend to save you.
Dr. Eek tells Sam. Then he walks over to the scary machine and starts turning dials. Something buzzes. Something else hums.
Help me, Sam. Guys, please help.
A moment later, the jar of pickles starts to glow. Stop! You scream. You lunge at Dr. Eek. But Dr. Eek thrusts out a hand to stop you. He's strong, even if he is an old guy.
Give up.
Dr. Eek commands. But you don't give up. You run over to the table and rip wires off of Sam's feet. Then you grab his arm. Let's run, you say to your friend. Dr. Eek throws his head back and laughs.
You'll never get here. No.
He bellows.
All the exits are locked. Unless...
Turn to page 76.
You never get out of his lab unless you find a way out of the cane maze.
Canine maze. Dr. Eek warns. He pulls out his lab coat to adjust it. It's practically choking him, since he's wearing it backwards. But he doesn't seem to think there's anything wrong. He strokes his chin thinking. You're pretty sure from the look of Dr. Eek's face that he is cooking up a hideous plot. Then he nods.
Yes, I say that is your best chance.
Dr. Eek declares.
The canine maze, unless...
Unless what? You cry.
Unless you want to answer this special Goosebumps question.
Dr. Eek replies. Excellent, you shout. I'm a Goosebumps expert. You slap Sam a high five.
Okay, in the book, My Hero's Adventure, when Larry first notices the thick black hair growing on his hand, what is he holding, a toothbrush or a hairbrush?
Holy shit, I don't actually know the answer to this one.
Bruh.
Toothbrush?
Toothbrush.
Is it?
Yeah.
Waffle, confirmation?
I don't know. Yeah, I guess a toothbrush.
Alright, I'm gonna trust these guys, page 49. Also, Grinch, congratulations, you were right. That was definitely a reference to My Harry's Adventure.
Thank you.
Larry is holding a toothbrush, you tell Dr. Eek.
Amazing.
He cries.
You are a true Goosebumps expert.
You grin at Sam. So how do we get out of the lab now, you ask eagerly.
The canine maze.
Dr. Eek replies. Huh? The canine maze, you repeat. You're sure you must have heard him wrong. But you said there was another way, if I answered your question right.
Too bad. I lied.
Dr. Eek sneers.
It's the canine maze for the both of you.
Dr. Eek shivers with delight. He hurries to push a big red button on the wall. A hidden door on the operating room wall swings open. You and Sam nervously peer inside. You can tell it's a maze because the hallway here is much narrower than the regular hall. Too narrow, you think. Plus, you can't see any doors in the maze. All you can see is the maze twists and turns a lot. If you go in, will you ever get out? Dr. Eek gestures for you and Sam to enter the maze.
Enjoy yourselves.
He says with an evil grin.
Oh, and by the way, beware of the dogs.
Page 23. Dogs, you say, but I thought...
What did you think?
Dr. Eek asked coldly. Well, I thought that was a maze that you usually used for dogs, you say, to train them or something. I thought we had to find our way out, but I didn't think that dogs would be in there with us at the same time.
You just don't think.
Dr. Eek says briskly.
Oh, well, too bad.
He crosses his arms over his chest and stares at you. This conversation is over.
Oh, well, Sam groans. Come on. What are we waiting for? The sooner we go, the sooner we'll get out of here.
Sam's right, you decide, except that you keep remembering what Dr. Eek said. Beware of the dogs. Beware of the dogs.
Beware the dogs. Beware the dogs.
You step into the maze corridor. There's a strange smell in the air, like a dog smell. It makes the hair on the back of your neck stand up. Creep down the hall to page 31. You take a few more steps further into the maze. Blam! The door slams shut behind you with a clang. Now you're really trapped.
Which way, Sam asks?
Don't be dumb, you snap. We haven't come to a choice yet. Just keep going straight. You continue walking. The hallway twists and turns 5 times. Left, right, left, left. Again, but at an angle. You still aren't exactly lost. You could easily turn around and go back the way you came, but your heart pounds wildly. You feel like an animal caught in a trap, just knowing it's a maze, that there's only one way out. Then it hits you. Hey! You call to Sam, swallowing hard. Your voice sounds high. You hope Sam doesn't notice how freaked out you are. Did Dr. Eek actually say there was a way out of here? Go to page 30.
There's gotta be a way out of it, doesn't there? Sam cries.
I don't know. I can't remember what Dr. Eek said. Maybe the maze just goes around and around in circles forever, you shriek. Maybe we'll die of starvation or run out of air. Maybe the only way out is through the door back there, the one he just locked. You and Sam don't say anything for the next few minutes. You're both beginning to sweat. The worst part is the silence of the maze, the dead silence. It doesn't even echo a little. The only sound is the sound of your sneakers and Sam's thick hiking boots on the floor. And the smell. The doggy smell. It's getting stronger and stronger. Then all at once, you come to a fork, a choice. The maze corridor goes either left or straight ahead. You look left. You see only a short piece of hallway and then another turn. Straight ahead, the hallway seems to stretch on for a long, long time without turning. Which way? To go left, turn to page 18. To go straight, go to page 130.
You should go page 18.
Okay, Grinch?
Page 18.
Waffle?
Page 18.
Guess we're going left. You quickly turn left and stare at the 6 German shepherds racing towards you in the canine maze. 3 come at you from one side, 3 from the other. You're trapped. Their needle-sharp teeth drip with saliva. 2 of them froth at the mouth. One of them has a caked, dried blood all over his face. God, this is graphic. As if it had eaten raw meat or something earlier today. Don't scream, you tell yourself. Don't show fear, and don't run. But what can you do? There's only one way to call off the dogs. With a silver whistle. But do you have one? Ho-ho! We met the half-dog boy. We're going to page 127. Luckily, you have the silver whistle. Maybe you'll get out of here alive. The German shepherds lunge at you. The leader is so tall when he barks, you can feel his hot breath in your face. Suddenly, his huge teeth chomp down on the neck of your t-shirt, grazing your throat. But don't panic. As fast as humanly possible, which is pretty fast since you have lightning-fast reflexes after years of playing video games, you reach into your pocket and pull out the whistle. You blow it as hard as you can. Nothing happens. No sound comes out. Nothing whatsoever. Now what are you going to do? Face your fate on page 66.
Wait, I have a question. Doesn't a dog whistle usually...
It's a frequency that humans can hear, but dogs can't.
Yeah, like to you it should sound just like someone's streamlined breathing, just like but to them it should be like a piercing like screech.
Yeah, so why does it say face your fate if it actually works?
Well, we're about to find out here on this page.
Because how many kids at the time in the 90s knew that dog whistles were like that?
Very true. It was not common knowledge, maybe.
Okay.
You blow the silver whistle again, harder this time, but still no sound comes out. What's wrong with this thing? You want to shout, but your voice is paralyzed with fear. You blow one more time, still no sound. But just then, as you notice something, the dogs are backing down. All 6 of them. They stop barking, stop lunging at you, and all 6 of them sit. They just sit down on their back haunches and stare up at you as if they're waiting for further instructions.
Oh, Sam explains. That must be a dog whistle. People can't hear it, but dogs can. Where did you get it?
It's a long story, I'll tell you later, you say, wiping the sweat off your brow. Come on, let's find a way out of this place. Page 97. It takes about 27 minutes, but you and Sam finally do escape. You find an emergency exit door in the canine maze. It leads into a stairwell that leads to the floor below, which is where your mom's lab has been all this time. You hurry into her office. She's bent over a microscope, lost in her work.
Oh, hi.
Your mom says, looking at her watch.
I guess I forgot the time. Ready for a movie? I thought we'd go see the new science fiction film about the crazy scientist who traps these 2 kids.
You and Sam glance at each other and roll your eyes. Hold it, Mom, you interrupt. Sam and I were thinking we'd rather go do something, a little less exciting. Could we just go home, eat pizza, and watch cartoons and then go to bed? Your mom stares at you blankly.
Okay.
She replies,
But I hate to think you came all the way to my lab for nothing. Isn't there something fun we could do? How about if we stop on the way home and get a scary book to read?
You and Sam roll eyes again. A scary book? Now? Not tonight, Mom, you tell her. Not tonight. The end. Oh, wow, we've never had
made it out, guys.
First try.
This is a first for us. We've never had a clean cutaway where we get out without losing a life, so I'm proud of everybody in here.
I bring good luck.
Yeah.
So, here's my question. I know this is a good ending, don't get me wrong, but I know the mother worked there, but shouldn't she know that Dr. Eek is not trustworthy with her son and his friend?
Guessing more or less she doesn't realize it because she's so... One, she's a Goosebumps parent, and two, she's just enamored with her work, and by my guess.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying, like, whose kid was that was half dog? And two, we left him, guys.
Yeah.
And three, what was he gonna do to Sam? Why were the pickles necessary?
Maybe make him like Pickle Rick.
Maybe. I'm not mad we didn't die. It's nice that we made it all the way through, but I would have definitely liked to see a little more. I'll tell you this, I personally enjoyed this one a lot more than the Batwing Hall one.
Yeah. I also had fun voicing Dr. Eek.
Yeah, that was cool. So let's go around the table here. Let's start with Josh. Josh, how'd you feel about this book? And give us a rating between 1 and 10.
This book a lot more than the Batwing Hall. Even though I wasn't part of the TikTok Your Dad, I think TikTok Your Dad just was a little bit above this one. Overall, if I gave it a rating, probably a solid 7.
Okay. Grinch, what did you think about this book, and what would you rate it?
I love this book, especially the villain, because unlike the Batwing Hall book, I feel like Dr. Eek is a better villain, because you don't know what he's gonna do. Like, the kids are like, they're just brats, that's all they are. But I'll give this book maybe like an 8. It's better than Batwing Hall.
Okay. Waffle, what did you think of this book, and what would you rate it?
I liked it. I'm kind of sad I didn't get to see all the monsters, but it was good, like a 7.
Personally, I would like to see a little more like chaos in the lab. I feel like with this book, unlike the last one we did, like Grinch said, I'm going to comment on that, they were just like, they were kids, and yeah, they were monsters, so there was that threat, but there's just something like reading this, and I'm guessing it's probably more scary from a child's perspective, that you're in like an adult facility, and that there's an adult who's actually like the antagonist causing the problem, versus having someone your own age just kind of be like a brat, you know, like, I feel like it's more scary to be trapped in a science lab where these things are happening versus like a bunch of monster kids who all have like shitty egos. I'm gonna give this one an 8. I enjoyed it. 7.25. So the average for this book is a 7.25. Let's just round that down to a soft 7. So this book scored a 7, which nothing wrong with a C, you know? C's get degrees.
Yep. Yes, they do.
Okay, so starting with Josh, any closing statements?
I like this book. Can't wait to come back and do more.
Grinch, closing statements?
It was a good book. I really loved playing the villain, but yeah, it was good.
Waffle?
I liked it. I feel like there was potential for it to be a lot better. I mean, like, see more monsters. Like, I mean, this is the first time I read it. I didn't want to get spoiled for our read-through.
Yeah, it was the first time for me too. So, I agree. I feel like there was definitely some more crazy stuff in here. This is probably one I'll reread later on my own just to kind of see what happens. Maybe this time I'll stick around with Sam. But I enjoyed it. Overall, I think it was definitely a decent read and definitely worth picking up and adding to a collection. With that being said, this has been Goosebumps Podcast Can Be Murder. We're going to be reviewing The Werewolf of Fever Swamp for our next episode. So if you enjoy Fever Swamp, you want to hear a little Florida Tear, stop on by.
Bye-bye.
For that being said,
Bye.
thanks for watching. If you haven't already done so, make sure you click the subscribe button and ring that bell. That way you can stay up to date with our latest episodes of the podcast. We'll stab you in the next one.